Hello, everyone. Many of you already know that US immigration is going through a lot of changes almost every day under the new administration. And similarly, we are seeing a lot of changes, a lot of updates for EB-2 NIW cases. And today I'm going to talk about all the recent changes, especially in the month of March and April, that I discovered through all my cases. So if you follow these updates, if you can incorporate all the recommendations that I'm going to talk today, I believe your case would be stronger and you have a better chance of approval. And I should mention that this is the first week of May. So all the changes I'm talking, it happened in the last 2 months, especially in the month of March and April. And down the line, I'll definitely make other videos about all the recent changes. So if you follow my channel regularly, I believe it would be very helpful for you, especially for NIW cases. So you already know that under In Re Danashar case, especially under USCIS Policy Manual, Volume 6, Part F, Chapter 5, if you want to get approved under NIW, you must meet three-prong test that is mentioned in Re Danashar case. So today, I'm going to talk about all the changes based on those three prongs. Like first, I'm going to talk about first prong, then second prong, then third prong. And then at the end of the video, I will also give you all the changes based on document like economic impact analysis, like, your proposed endeavor, your recommendation letter, your CV, your resume, and all other things. So please watch the video from beginning to end. And not only just watch it, try to incorporate these changes, these recommendations that I'm going to tell you today in your petition, so your petition will be stronger and you have a better chance of approval. First, I'm going to talk about the first prong, which is substantial merit and national importance. For prong 1, which is substantial merit and national importance, in recent cases, we saw that people from all over the world, when they apply for NIW, they mention a job, a title, a designation in their proposed endeavor. However, proposed endeavor should not just mention one title or a short job description. Your proposed endeavor must be a clear idea what you're going to do here in America when you come to America under green card, right? That's why it's called proposed endeavor. It's not just a proposed job title. It's not just your job description. You cannot just say that I'm going to work for XYZ corporation, or I'm going to work as a software developer, I'm going to work as a project manager. You have to say what you're going to do as a software developer. You're going to explain what you're going to do as a project manager, and not only just say that I'm going to manage a project or I'm going to develop a software. How that is connected to America's national importance, that is more important. For example, the current administration, they're really careful about reducing federal expenses. So if you can show that the software you're going to develop or the project you're going to manage, if that can protect America's national importance by protecting current administration policies, that is more important. That is going to help you a lot in your NIW application, rather than just saying that as a software developer I'm going to work for that corporation. Because you have to remember that this is America's national importance, not the national importance of a particular company, a state, a city, or even a region. Whatever you say, you have to kind of give them a clear idea about your future plan, how that is important for America, how you're going to do that, and try your best to explain as clearly as possible. A lot of cases we see that people are less interested to talk more about their future plan. Sometimes some of our clients say, you please write something for me. It is difficult. I cannot write it for you because it's your field, your background, your future plan. You have to come up with a unique proposed endeavor that is going to protect America's national importance. Me as an attorney, definitely I can help you improve it. I can give you guideline. I can edit it, but it must be your authentic and original proposed endeavor that is aligned with America's national interest, especially under new administration's policy guideline. So that is one of the most important thing that you need to remember for your proposed endeavor. Another important thing about this first prong is sometimes we see that people submit a CV, resume, and other document that has no connection with your proposed endeavor. So this is very important. When you write your resume, write your CV, try to make some logical connection between your resume, CV with your proposed endeavor. So if you did many things in your past life, try to only highlight those things that is logically connected with your proposed endeavor, because at the end of the day, USCIS officer, when he or she is reading your proposed endeavor, they want to know that whether you're capable of doing this thing. So we need to highlight those part of your previous life that is logically connected with your proposed endeavor. That is another important thing. Also, when you draft your proposed endeavor and pretty much your entire petition, try to highlight the federal agencies that is associated with your proposed endeavor. For example, your proposed endeavor is about developing a AI technology, right? And you remember in the beginning of President Trump's this tenure, he talked about investing $500 billion for U.S. Infrastructure development for AI. So try to incorporate that kind of data, that kind of the federal agency that is associated with in this field. Try to mention their policy goal. If they have published any policy priorities, policy outline, try to mention that in your proposed endeavor and also in your petition, so that USCIS officer know that you are capable of doing this. You know what you're talking about. You know about the recent developments in US politics and US government. So they know that your work is aligned with current administration policies, because at the end of the day, we have to establish that your proposed endeavor is going to protect America's national importance. In your proposed endeavor and also in general in your petition, there must be a big problem of America. America is suffering because of that problem, and you are the one who is going to solve that problem. So this clear mention of the problem and clear mention of the solution, there should be like a storyline, how you're going to solve this problem from beginning to end. It's kind of like a hero's journey, right? You are a hero. You found a problem here in America, and you're going to solve this problem through your work, and you're capable of doing that. This is a very simple and plain presentation about NIW, how you as a hero going to solve a major problem in America, and that's how America is going to get benefit out of you. That's why there must be some measurable mention, right? You must mention what would be the impact of your proposed endeavor. Try your best to mention dollar amounts, like once your proposed endeavor is established, once you're going to do what you're planning to do, America will get, let's say, $200 million worth of benefit, right? Or America is going to save $500 million worth of waste that federal government or state government they're wasting at this moment. You must be able to say what is the actual benefit of America if they try to keep you here. That is the entire point of NIW, that you're going to protect America's national importance, and that must be established with data. The more data we provide in this application, the better for you. However, you should remember that data must be from reliable source, like New York Times, Washington Post, congressional hearing, presidential speech, government policy manual, policy document, Harvard research, MIT research, even TED Talk. TED Talk is also a good source of data. So try your best to claim your proposed endeavor, claim your future plan, support it through data, so that the government officer, USS officer, he or she knows that you are well capable of doing this thing. You know what you're talking about. Now I'm going to talk about the second prong, which is well positioned to advance the endeavor. In many times we see that when clients submit their application to USCIS, their proposed endeavor has nothing to do with their background. You must come up with some unique idea that is going to solve a major problem of America. However, it is logically connected with your background. If you are not capable of doing this proposed endeavor, this endeavor has no merit at all. For example, me, I'm an attorney, right? I'm a lawyer. I can say that I'm going to be a big lawyer for America. However, I cannot say that I'm going to be a big biotechnologist and I'm going to develop a biotechnology thing that is going to, do a lot of good to America. That is not possible. I'm not a biotechnologist. I have no background in biotechnology. So whatever you say, it must be logically connected with your background. And not only that, in your entire petition, in all of your documents, this connection must be established. Your past, your future, and you are in between. Your proposed endeavor is going to do good to America using your past. So this logical connection with your past and future must be established in your petition. in all of your recommendation letters, your recommenders must clearly articulate that what is your proposed endeavor and what you are going to do in next 3 4 5 years. Try to kind of give them a timeline. What is your goal for next 2 years, and then 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, or probably 20 years. Try to establish everything in a progressive manner, like a step-by-step manner. That sounds more logical rather than saying that I'm going to change the world upside down in like 20 years without mentioning what is going to happen in next 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years. Because USCIS officers, they're smart too. So you have to convince them by your documents, your background, your other things. So if you say that, hey, I do not have any research background, I advise you to take some research courses. Nowadays you can take courses from Coursera, Udemy, pretty much all big universities, they have their online platform. You can register for a research methodology course, I think within like $300-$500, and it will be only 2 to 3 months course. Try to take that, and that will kind of emphasize that you are well capable of doing research in your field. So try to remember those things. If you are applying for NIW based on your business idea, a lot of time people, they just want to give idea. Idea is not an important thing without supporting evidence. So if you say that you're going to do this business, like, you must clearly mention who is going to fund this business, where the money will come from, and not just clearly mention. If you have some investor and if they give you a letter or even like a MOU or some sort of contract that shows that you are capable of raising, let's say, $5 million for this business and investors are ready. Also, what is the location for this business? Where would be the headquarters? Let's say you said that New York City will be the headquarters, or Los Angeles, or Texas. Try to kind of give them an idea why you choose this area, right? Why New York City is the headquarters for your business? Why not Texas? Or if you choose Texas, why not New York? Try to give a very logical explanation about the location. Who is your target audience? Who is your customer? Who is your client? Why they are your client? Why they are your customer? And if you can support all this claim with data, with US Census data, US consumer data, use any kind of data, that is going to be very helpful for your petition if you're going to apply based on business ideas. Also, try your best to give some visual timeline, like any kind of initiative you talk about in your proposed endeavor, no matter it's a research idea, it's a business idea, or even just work that you're going to do. You must give a kind of visual representation. Try your best to give as much as information in the form of a chart. There's a different kind of chart presentation, like a timeline, data. All of these are going to help you in your NIW journey. Now I'm going to talk about the third prong, which is balancing test for job offer waiver. So many people, they ask me question, and according to their question, my understanding is that they kind of misunderstand this prong. They think they need to establish that they are not going to take American people's job, they are going to create job for America kind of things, which is not true. That is the test for regular EB-2, like perm-based application. In the perm-based application, employer needs to establish that hiring this foreign person is not going to make a local American people lose their job. The entire point of perm application is to protect America's job market. On the other hand, in NIW application, that's not important at all. In NIW application, our main concern is America's national interest. So if you say that you're going to create some job for America, you're going to protect job for Americans, that's not enough. You have to think about a bigger idea. You have to be very ambitious, very bold. You have to come up with some unique problem, and you also have to come up with the solution, and you will be able to do that in your petition. I say this to my clients. When you see, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Elon Musk talk about the idea, look at them. They're very confident about what they're talking about. They're very ambitious. They are going to change the entire world. So that the tone, the tone of your application should be like that kind of very positive, very confident, very bold idea that is going to change America. And it's not about just protecting America's job market or creating some job. You have to come up with an idea that is going to be beneficial for America as a whole in a bigger context. Again, I already said that whatever you say, it must be supported by data. So to support this thing, I think I would recommend you to use labor market data, US Census data, any kind of publication by US government that shows that the work you're going to do, your proposed endeavor is in the national importance for America. And US government, they publish data every now and then. So try to get all the latest data and try to incorporate those for your petition. The more data you provide for your petition, the better for your case. That's why I really tell my clients, many of my clients, they say that, hey, Raju, how about you do everything for me? And, I will just see whether everything is good or bad. The problem is me as an attorney, I am expert in law, but I'm not expert in your field. Let's say you are an AI engineer. I have basic idea about AI, but I do not have deep knowledge about AI. So I recommend my clients, you come up with the idea, you write it, and then I'm going to edit it, I'm going to improve it, I'm going to make it, a good presentation so that it meets all the legal requirements. Another misconception about NIW, a lot of folks, even like a lot of my clients and other people, they think NIW application, the petition is not actually a legal document. It's just a basic, like a paper writing kind of thing, which is not true. In NIW petition, we need to follow a very certain legal structure. We follow Indra Danashar case. There is an IRAC format of writing, and many people have no idea about what is IRAC format of writing, which is okay because it's a legal writing style. But at the end of the day, NIW application is a legal document, and you must follow all the rules and regulations of a legal writing. Otherwise, USCIS may not approve your case, because if you do not know the legal argument, if you do not know the legal writing style, that's not your defense. You cannot go to court or somewhere and say, hey, Your Honor, I had no idea about this. That's not a defense. So I strongly advise folks who think of submitting NIW application by themselves without consulting with the attorney. This is not a good idea, because yes, lawyers charge a lot of money, but at the end of the day, your time is more important than money. And NIW application is a really, really good tool to get green card, and getting US green card is very important. So even though it's more expensive to talk to an attorney, I highly recommend you to talk to an attorney, get advice, and let them take care of this matter, because at the end of the day, NIW application is a legal document. It must meet all the legal style, right? All right, now that I am done with mentioning about all those three-prong tests mentioned in Indra Danashar case, now I'm going to give you some tips how to improve your case based on specific documents. For example, proposed endeavor. As I said, in the proposed endeavor, there should be a very clear idea about what is the big American problem that you're going to solve, how you're going to solve it, whether you're capable of doing that thing, and what would be the outcome. And the outcome must be something that is important for America as a country, as a whole, or even the global scale. You cannot just say that I'm going to work as a software engineer, I'm going to work as a professor. A lot of folks, they have a PhD degree, they have a lot of publication citation, and they say that they want to be professor of a university. Being professor of a university, while it is very good for the society, but it is not in the America's national interest, because there's a lot of professors here in America, and as a professor, you're only going to teach few students. Instead of focusing on teaching, if you have a PhD degree, my advice would be to focus on research and how your research is going to benefit America as a whole. That's why in your proposed endeavor, try your best to be as specific as possible in terms of your research. Who is going to fund this research? What would be the outcome? How long it may take? What would be the benefit of America? Try your best to be as informative as possible. Also, in terms of recommendation letters, a lot of people, they just follow a template. A lot of people nowadays, they generate recommendation letter with AI. Trust me, this is not a good idea. Your recommendation letter should be very specific about your background, your future plan, the relationship between you and the person who is giving you this recommendation letter, and also try your best to get 2 recommendation letters from independent recommenders. I know it's tough, It's hard. A lot of my clients say, hey, how do I get independent recommenders? They have no idea about me. They even don't know me, which is fine. They will mention in the recommendation letter that I do not know this person. I have no academic or professional collaboration. However, based on the information available to me, I am writing this recommendation letter. So he or she will mention that this is an independent recommendation. It's not dependent. There is no connection between these two persons. And a lot of my clients, they ask me, how do I get independent recommendation letters? So the best way is you can post in your LinkedIn. You can say, hey, I'm going to apply for something. I need an independent evaluation. Is there any good people, kind people in my friend list who can give me a recommendation letter, independent recommendation letter? Trust me, there's a lot of good people out in the world and they can help you. Reddit is as another place. A lot of people, they post in Reddit and they get people who are willing to write recommendation letters for them. Also, personal network, friends and family, they can help you find someone. Also, there are some commercial companies, they may help you find people, they may even help you draft recommendation letter. This is not illegal. A lot of people ask me, hey, is it illegal to pay someone to write recommendation letters? The answer is no, it's not illegal in America. Everybody's time is important, everybody's time is valuable. If someone charge money from you to write recommendation letter, that's okay. However, the thing they are going to write, that cannot be wrong, that cannot be false or fake. Even though someone is taking money from you to write recommendation letter, the thing they are going to write in the actual letter, it must be true and accurate representation of your past, your present, and your future. So recommendation letters must be very to the point, not just saying a lot of good things that that doesn't make any sense kind of thing. As I said, your resume or CV must represent your proposed endeavor. You may do many things in your previous life. That's totally okay. However, when you are going to apply for NIW, if your proposed endeavor is about a software engineer, try your best to highlight the part in your past that is connected with software engineer. And also, do not just say that you're going to develop a software. Just a software developer does not sound very interesting for America's national importance. But I recommend my clients to kind of present yourself more of a R&D officer, a research and development officer. So, anytime you develop a software, you need to do a lot of research before even if you start coding. So highlight those research portion first, and then say that after your research, you're going to develop a software, and that software is going to bring benefit to America. So it's more of a R&D kind of work rather than just developing a software. So it's more of a presentation. Present yourself as a R&D officer instead of just a software engineer kind of things. As I said, if you want to present your case as a business idea, like an entrepreneurship based NIW application, try your best to give so much document, as much as document you can generate, like MOU, contract with the landlord, with your landlord, some MOUs with your vendors, letter from investors. Any kind of document, any kind of information that is logically connected with your business idea will strengthen your case. Not just a vague idea or just description of your business without any supporting evidence will be a very weak case. Another common question I get all the time about recommendation letters, some folks, they're already retired. Let's say a retired professor or someone who retired from job, ex-CEO of a big corporation, how they are going to give you recommendation letter, especially in a letterhead. Some people say, hey, can I get a recommendation letter in a plain white paper? The answer is yes, but that is not going to help you, because writing a recommendation letter in a plain white paper will not carry as much weight as from a reputable letterhead from a reputable company. Now the question is, how do a retired CEO or a retired professor is going to give you recommendation letter in a letterhead, right? So what I recommend in this situation is request that person to make his or her own letterhead, and it will clearly mention that he is the ex-CEO of Google Corporation or Microsoft Corporation or XYZ Corporation, or ex-professor of XYZ State University. And then the letterhead must clearly mention about this person's current email address, phone number, address. It can be home address, that's fine. He's probably working from his home, or he is not probably working at all, that's okay. Home address. So USCIS can locate this person. If USCIS wants to reach out this person, USCIS is capable of doing this, right? So this is very important. All document, all information must be traceable. If you submit any MOU between two companies, the logo of these two companies, website, address, email address, everything should be mentioned there. So when we submit this to USCIS knows that this is a real document. It's not a fake document. And if they want to reach out to the other company, other party to double check, there is a way of double checking things. So the more traceable any document is, it will carry more weight for your application and you have a better chance of getting it approved. And finally, if you ask me what is the summary of today's talk, I already talked a lot about different things, but if I summarize everything, please take NIW petitions seriously. It is not as easy as last year or the year before to get an NIW approval. Nowadays, USCIS is really scrutinizing everything: your recommendation letter, your proposed endeavor, your background, your CV, your resume, your everything. They're checking it seriously, and they kind of consider it a strategic legal brief. Try to present your NIW petition more of a legal document rather than just a summary of your background and your future plan. It's not a statement of purpose that you submitted to your university when you applied for your master's or PhD. It's not that easy anymore, because you're going to get green card through this NIW application. Take it seriously. Try to make everything as authentic as possible. Try to spend time. Lot of people, they say, hey, I hired an attorney and attorney is going to do everything for me. That is not possible in this day and age. You have to be actively engaged with the process. You have to be actively participating, and you have to make sure that it is a well-written, it is a great NIW petition. Otherwise, you have a difficult time to get it approved. Because remember one thing, it's not only the folks who are already in America that are going to apply for NIW. People from all over the world, people from China, India, Mexico, Brazil, Europe, Africa, Middle East, everywhere. People are applying for NIW left and right. There's a lot of NIW applications every day, and that's why there's a lot of denial too. I hope this video was very helpful for you. If you need more information, more help, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll try our best to help you. Have a wonderful day.